So today I'm going to be talking about burn-in on OLED in 2021 and more importantly the risks hereafter so that you know whether or not OLED is really a viable technology. Now I've had the chance to study, review, and ultimately test numerous of the top OLEDs in 2021 and years prior. So I'll be using that experience to give you guys a well-rounded understanding of how OLED works nowadays and the true risk of burn-in as requested by the community here. So smack a like on this video because we're going to be getting to the point right now. Yes, in 2021, burn-in is still a thing and you can absolutely still get it. Unfortunately, OLEDs have an organic compound in them that does degrade with usage, and over time it will wear out. You will get burn-in. That's a fact that nobody can deny. Now, the amount of time it takes for that to happen is completely random, and we don't actually know for every single OLED in every use case example how soon that's going to happen, and there's no real way to pinpoint it. And this is why OLED becomes a massive gamble. Not everybody is willing to throw away over $2 grand, $1,500, whatever the case may be, on a TV that literally at some random point in time could wear out and again eventually die out just from watching and using it. But this is the truth of OLED. I recently got burned in on my Samsung Galaxy S9, and I'm telling you right now, I've had the phone since shortly after launch. And I mean, at the end of the day, this is reality. With use, it does wear out and you do get burn-in. Now, I've gotten a lot of requests to talk about burn-in and the real-world use and how it stacks up in today's world. And I can tell you, in real-world use, you still run the same risk. It's not something that you can get around just because you're using it what they would classify as normal. And what I mean by that is you're avoiding static content, you're only watching moving things. I mean, it'll last longer, but it's still an organic compound that will wear out, and that's the reality of OLED. Now, I can say that even if you break the rules, however, that doesn't immediately mean that you're going to get burn-in right away. I want you guys to look at the screen here at Injustice 2 as it's been playing in the background with full HUDs, and I guarantee you on future burn-in tests you won't see those same HUDs burned in. I use this TV every single time I want to game, watch movies, or do literally anything with a television. This is my daily driver, and it has been for almost 2 years now. And I haven't had any problems with burn-in, but that doesn't mean that everybody's experience is going to be mine. Now, again, I also want to point out that this comes right down to the quality of OLED you're buying as well. So if you're buying a B series, you can't expect it to stick around as long as the higher end ones. Now, everybody, and I mean everybody in the review space that I'm in will tell you that, you know, the pictures are identical, and when they're not identical, LG makes everything about the same. But the truth is, LG uses their lowest quality OLED panels on their most affordable units. While initially this doesn't sound like much of a problem, it is, because this is how you run into burn-in a lot faster than on the higher end models, and why people keep saying OLED doesn't have any burn-in. These are typically the people spending $3 to $5 grand on their OLED. Now again, if you're like me, you probably can't afford to do something like that because you're not rolling in money, and you're probably in the belief like me where, again, a TV is not worth that kind of money. So you kind of make do with what you've got. But at the end of the day, there are people spending these premiums, these massive premiums on these OLEDs, and they defend it tooth and nail. But the reality is even they will eventually get burn-in, and you know what they're going to do because they've got the money? They're just going to buy another OLED. I've seen so many actual OLED owners tell me as much. So again, don't feel like you have to overcompensate in any way by defending something that is indefensible, basically. You don't have any kind of burn-in free guarantee on any OLED because they can't guarantee you that. Now, again, companies like LG with their logo luminance adjustment and other burn-in preventatives try to help prevent it, but they're just that, preventative measures. Now, when we talk about the risks of things like the entry-level panels, it's also important to note that like every panel that's entry-level isn't the same. So the older OLEDs from like 2016, 2017, those are going to burn in a lot easier because they didn't have the kind of technology advancements, I don't know what they are by the way, that LG is doing nowadays. Because I found that even image retention on older TVs back in 2017, like the B7, were far stronger and way worse than they are nowadays. So they have figured out some way to make OLED a little bit more viable than it was back then, but that still doesn't solve the issue of it's still not where it needs to be, if you know what I mean. Now, again, we have a lot of people that are waiting for micro LED and other hybrid televisions to try to bridge the gap between OLED. And I'm super looking forward to the Hisense A90J because it has 2 million zones of local dimming, and that's basically OLED territory with QLED brightness. So naturally speaking, I'm super excited to see it. But again, these are the routes that other manufacturers go. Now, if you guys wanted to know, I personally think that when it comes to OLED, just enjoy it. Don't try to follow the rules, so to speak, right? The rule is that you don't watch, 4:3 content. I do it all the time. I haven't had any problems with burn-in. Don't watch 16:9 content. I do it all the time. No issues. Don't play video games with HUDs on the screen for a prolonged period of time. I'm doing that here in this video, and as you can see in each example, the HUDs are fully enabled, and I'm not babying my OLED. Again, while you have your OLED, just enjoy it, because no matter how much you baby it or how much you try to cater to it, it's still going to burn in eventually. And if you didn't go into your OLED purchase with that on your mind and you didn't prepare yourself, you're going to be disappointed when the day comes because you didn't get to use it the way you wanted to, following some rule of how you should be careful with OLED. Treat it like a TV and ignore all the other nonsense. Now, I don't recommend going to the grocery store and leaving it on, but at the same point in time, don't sit there and deny yourself or deprive yourself of a nice experience because of the nature of a display that you will never escape. And that's as real as anyone's going to tell you. Now, hopefully this video kind of explains burn-in 2021. Every single OLED, I don't care how much you spend on it, will still have that because it's in the name. It's an organic light emitting diode that will never, ever, ever escape the wear and tear that anything that's organic has. Whether it's a banana, a fruit, or even human beings, anything that's organic will eventually perish, and OLED is no different. I hope this clarified it, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty. If you have questions, ask them down below. Until the next video, I'll see you guys later.